Are you surprised? I mean, it's the afternoon, first of all. It's a Friday in the afternoon. We only usually take this time to do cracking up. So, are you surprised, or did you get plenty of warning? Or anyway, I hope I've surprised you just a little bit, but here we are. It is December the 2nd, and how did it get to be that? And oh gosh, Christmas is racing towards us, or we're racing towards Christmas. I'm not sure which it is. So it is December the 2nd, and we are doing our healing hands around the world. So if you're interested in healing, I'm going to talk a little bit about, you know, the art of healing and what happens when we give healing and what happens to somebody if they're receiving healing. We're going to talk all about that. The chat room will be open today, so you'll have lots of opportunities to ask questions and to learn more about healing. Um, excuse me. And before we begin, first of all, I'd like to say good afternoon to my spirit guide, Regal, who is laughing at me, who is standing to my right side. And let's say hello to Chris. Chris, how are you doing? She's there facilitating away, as she usually does.
Great, Rosemary, and people are just logging into the chat room.
Great. So I'm just going to, I'm not waiting for anybody. I'm just going to dive right in here and talk a little bit about healing because I think that, we mention healing. We who are in this world, in this arena, let's say, we're so we're so used to saying, I'm so used to saying, and I'll send him some healing, or I'll send her some healing, or somebody will call me and say, as happened just before we came on the show today, somebody called and said, could you please send a little more healing to my grandson? And so, but what is it? What are we doing actually when we're sending healing? What is healing all about? So let's go first of all to this world of ours, this universe of ours. And we know, I think most of us know and understand that everything is about energy. Everything is energy. We are, as individuals, as little human beings, we are little balls of energy. Some of us have more energy, some of us have less energy, but we are all energy. It's all about the energy that is within us and sort of goes out from us as well. So, excuse me, here we are, we're walking on this planet of ours, and I think the times when we feel energy and other people's energy the most very often is Christmas shopping, when we're walking down the street and we've got a ton of people walking down the street with us, and we can get hot and we can get flustered and we're pushing and we're shoving and we're trying, or we're being pushed and shoved, or we're trying to find our way through things. And that then in those times we're using our energy to propel ourselves forward. It's hard when we think about even little babies who are barely moving, just sleeping. Energy emanates from them. The leaves on the trees, I know, isn't it weird? Every living thing is energy. It's all about the energy. The leaves on the trees emit a kind of you could call it an aura or an energy field, but they emit a sort of like an energy that can be sometimes very gentle, sometimes more fierce, sometimes stronger, sometimes less strong, and so on. Energy, energy, energy. And we know all about sort of power lines, don't we? We know about, where let's plug this computer in, and if we don't have any energy, it's not going to work. It's the same thing, really, I suppose, with people. If we don't plug ourselves in, we don't have quite the same amount of energy as we might if we do plug ourselves in. But where are we going to plug ourselves in to? Because surely not an outlet, not anything that is that simple. Maybe there'll be a time, in the future when we have robots walking around and they'll just plug themselves in. If they feel the battery's going low, they'll plug themselves into the wall. But we who are healers, we have to be very aware of the energy that we have within us, and very aware of the energy that we exude or that we put out. And also, we have to make sure that that energy is as positive and as light and as bright as it can possibly be. Because, after all, if we're sharing our energy with other people, which is what healing is about, or partly what healing is about, if we're sharing our energy with others, then we have a responsibility to make sure that our energy is good and positive, and it's a good energy, it's a nice energy, it's a vibrant energy which we are happy to share with others. Um, now, eh, that all takes, well, it all takes energy, doesn't it? It sounds exhausting, doesn't it? Having to build up your energy all the time and having to give it out to others all the time. And it's no wonder why many healers become sick, because they forget, or they don't even know, that they have to build their energy on a daily basis. You can have a battery. Okay, imagine that we are little batteries. Each one of us is a little battery, and it can be filled to capacity. Lots of energy, lots of power in there. We can put the battery into whatever, and we can use that machine. We can use it till actually the battery runs out of power, runs out of its energy, and then we either discard it or we can recharge it. Fortunately for us little human beings, we can actually recharge. Thank goodness that we don't have to throw ourselves away, or somebody else doesn't have to throw us away. We're on the rubbish heap. But imagine that healers, or people who give and give, not just healers, but doctors, nurses, I'm thinking of airline pilots, all of these people who are working in the public sphere, and they're giving, and they're forgetting that we're none of us infallible. We're none of us the powerhouse that we often want to be, and we wear out, and some of us can wear out more quickly than others. But at some point, if we keep going, giving, expending our energy over and over again, eventually, like the battery, we'll go flat. What happens when we go flat is that very often we can get quite sick. I knew a healer once. He'd been a healer for almost 30 years, and he could barely walk. He was so exhausted. He'd forgotten or didn't even know how to recharge himself. And he just kept pushing himself and pushing himself and pushing himself, kept pushing his energy, draining, find a little bit more, draining. And he became actually very sick. He was, I think he was only something like 55, and he looked like he was in his 70s or even in his 80s. He wore himself out because he had forgotten to replenish his energy. So when we talk about healing, and I say to somebody, look, I'll send him healing. What I'm actually saying is, I'm going to send him a little piece of me. Now, that's no small thing, because I've only got a certain portion of me to send out. I've got to keep some for myself. And the more I send out, and the more people I send healing to, the more people I say, oh yeah, I'll send you some healing, or I'm giving you some healing, the more I'm expending my energy, and the less I will have for myself unless I recharge. So, okay, how do we recharge? Well, we plug ourselves in. Not to the wall, no, not to a device, but we sit very quietly and calmly, and we find a space where we're not going to be disturbed, where we're going to be able to relax, to rejuvenate, to resurge our batteries, to increase our energy, and we are going to plug in, or to tune in to that God force, that amazing, that God force, that universal God force that is out there for us. And of course, we don't need literally a plug. We just need our mind, our energy combined together. We need our thoughts, because every thought is a little pulse, tiny pulse of energy that goes out. So we're going to send out our tiny pulses of energy, that tiny, tiny thought. And we're going to say, please can I rejuvenate? Please can I plug in? Please can I tap in to that universal energy, that universal God force that is out there? That's what I'm going to try to do. And I'm asking, of course, I will ask Greg, or you'll ask your family or your friends in the spirit world to help you, but we sit very, very quietly and we trust that if we ask for it and we calm ourselves and we breathe, we're able to breathe and allow it to happen, that God force will absolutely surround us. And as we breathe in that energy, as we breathe in that external, beautiful, bright, white light energy, as we breathe it into us, this is what recharges us. This is what recharges our batteries, so to speak. This is where we get that energy from. Each time you give healing, and I know some of you are fabulous healers, each time you give healing, every time you're expending, you have to, as much as you will expend, you have to put as much back in. And so this requires you to be extremely selfish. Because if you're not selfish with yourself, and if you don't recharge your batteries, if you don't plug in to that amazing God force that is out there, and if you don't replenish the energy that you are using, then pretty soon you won't be good for anybody. Certainly won't be good for your patients, for those around you, and certainly won't be good for yourself. I can tell you, you will wear yourself out. And rather like the battery that has no power left in it, you might have a little surge every now and again. Have you ever done that? The battery's dead, but then you put it back in again, you get a teeny surge again. You might get that. You might be able to replenish your energy to a small degree, but in order to replenish, to rejuvenate, to build your energy, so that you're never without energy, so that even on your dreariest, most exhausting day, plug in, raise your level of consciousness, get to that state of mind where you are at one with the universe, at one with that God force. Feel that God force surrounding you. And even as I'm talking to you, you can feel it. If you're with me on this, if you're listening, if you're paying attention, you should be able to feel as I'm talking about this God force that surrounds us. Breathe in, breathe in. Breathe in through your solar plexus. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. Oh, and feel great. Bring that energy. Fill your lungs. Fill every little part of you. Breathe in that God force, that incredible light that is out there, that beautiful God force, that beautiful God energy that is out there for us all. And feel immediately rejuvenated. And you need to sit for at least 10 to 15 minutes if you've had an exhausting day. Now, you can do it knowing you're going to have an exhausting day. Do it beforehand. It will get you through. After having an exhausting day, plug yourself back in again. If you see the results, right? You've got an iPad or a computer and you come to use it and it's what happened? It's dead. Oh, I forgot to plug it in, didn't I? Well, apply that to you, apply that to your own self and what it feels like and what's happening with you, because we do need that God force, we do need that God energy surrounding us and filling us and rejuvenating us. And this is how healing works, this is how healers work. And the best healers, I like to think, are the most selfish in some ways because they will never neglect to plug themselves in. They will never neglect their own energy because they know how important it is. If you can't give out good positive energy to others, then what use are you as a healer? So you've got to always first you. That's the rule with a healer. First replenish you. If you don't charge the battery to its fullest, it's only going to last a short while and then it's going to fizzle out again, isn't it? So make sure that your battery is fully charged before you give healing. Whether you give healing to yourself or whether you give healing to others, if you're sitting down there thinking, well, I'm going to give some healing to my own self, recharge. Breathe in. Understand that God force surrounds you. Understand that it's at your fingertips. Understand all you have to do is breathe in through your solar plexus. Oh, it feels so good. Fill yourselves up. Fill up your lungs. Fill up the whole of your being. I hope, Mark, that you're doing this. I said to you on Thursday I was going to give you healing, and here we are. I'm giving you healing, but you've got to participate with me. And I think that so many of us become sick when we don't need to be because, well, because we forget to recharge ourselves. We forget that in some small way we are battery operated as well, and we've got to recharge. Um, I know that sort of throughout my time on this earth, I have to tell you that traveling all over the world, people have said to me over and over and over again in every country I go into. In Italy, I'll give you an example. I remember going there one time, and they had to have 4 or 5 people sent from the office. One would come in the morning, one would come midday, one would come mid afternoon, one would come at night, and then they might have somebody else. Because these people being around me, being with me, keeping up with my schedule, keeping up with the work that I'm doing, keeping up with all of that expending energy, they were exhausted. They could only manage a morning. They had to switch out and find somebody else with some energy. So people always referred to me as the, I don't know if you, in America, you had the Energizer Bunny, but it was an advert on British television. It was all to do with batteries and so on. And the battery that keeps going the longest they call the Energizer Bunny. And I have been referred to in my lifetime so many times. Oh my goodness, she's like that Energizer Bunny. Where does she find her energy from? Where does she keep going? And now you know. I tap in, I tune in, I plug in. Doesn't matter what you call it, but that's what I do. Now, that's not to say that at the end of a day, especially if I'm traveling and going from place to place, city to city, TV studio to radio studio to whatever it is we're doing, that doesn't mean at the end of the day I'm not exhausted. But if I collapse, I've done my job, I've given out enough energy, I've had enough energy, I've created enough energy to do my job in the best way possible, in the most positive way possible. And now, okay, it's 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night, or sometimes even 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm done. And now I'm going to put my feet up, and I'm going to recharge. The good thing about recharging your batteries, the good thing about bringing energy to yourself, the really good thing about that is that you don't need to do anything except sit on your bum or lie in a bed and just let your energy, let your mind work, lift your level of consciousness, tune into that force that is out there. And if you're tuning in, if you're asking for it, it's coming to you. It surrounds you, it fills you. You don't have to do anything other than um, just trust that it's there. Allow your body to relax, allow yourself to relax. Try to tune out all of those awful ideas and thoughts and stuff that's going on in your head, because sometimes when we can't sleep, it's because we've got all that stuff going on. Place yourself in a cocoon. Visualize it yourself in that sort of super cocoon. When I put myself in a cocoon, it's blue. It's just blue, 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 because blue is the healing color. And I visualize myself either in a blue blanket, or I visualize myself in an incredible cocoon, and off I go. And that's it. And there I am. I'm sort of, being fed. My energy, my body, my mind, my spirit, my soul is being fed. And when your soul is being fed, your whole body responds. Your entire being responds. Your mind responds. Your thoughts, your feelings, everything is responding to this incredible God force that is out there, that is there for every single one of us. No one of us is denied it. That's the most, incredible thing. We're all able to tap into it. We're all able to receive it, and we're all able to rejuvenate. And that's what we do. I mean, We all have our off days. We all have those days when, especially with me, let me tell you, the last couple of weeks, oh, my back has been crazy, and it's really much better today. Thank you for asking. I can hear all of you saying to me, how is it today? It's much better today. But you just sometimes you have to sit and you have to be selfish and you just have to, regardless of what anybody else wants you to do, or regardless of what commitments you have, sometimes you just have to say, no, this is me time. I need this time. This is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to plug in. I'm going to rejuvenate. I can read a book while I'm doing it if I feel like it. I can watch the movie on TV while I'm doing it if I want to. That's the joy of it. You don't have to set this time aside and sort of put yourself in a space where you don't have anyone else if you don't want to. You can just simply sit quietly, ask, can I have some of this? This good stuff, please. Can I be filled up? And you breathe and you relax and you allow it to happen. And then I'll often just get my knitting out while it's working. And that's amazing that you can do all of those things. You don't even have to focus or concentrate above and beyond that moment of asking and placing yourself in that right frame of mind to receive. So, healers everywhere, you've got to learn to replenish. And for those of you who need healing, it's as important for you to replenish as it is for your healer to replenish. Because, look, the healer can give you so much, but come on, get off your bottom, Mark, off your bottom, and replenish yourself. I know sometimes we don't feel like it, we can't be bothered. It's, oh no, it's too hard, it's far too hard work, I'm too depressed, I'm feeling too lonely, all of those reasons and excuses. But you've heard the expression, all of you heard that expression, God helps those who help themselves. And in this case, we've got to help ourselves. And the joy of it is that if we're helping ourselves and we know that other people are helping us in the same way and giving us more positive healing, wow, that's a double whammy right there. And it makes an enormous, enormous difference. I'm going to give a shout out to my little teeny tiny, my friend's grandson, Grayson. We are sending him healing today. Absolutely. He's just a few months old. So those of you who are healers, if you in your prayers, in your healing prayers, or when you're sending out your healing prayers, if you could ask for healing for Grayson as well. Okay, right. I'm done talking for a little bit. I might have been talking to myself. Who knows? There might not be anybody there. There might be nobody listening. I mean, who knows? But that's all right because I've just rejuvenated myself just by talking about it. I feel so much better. I feel so much more rejuvenated. But anyway, I'm supposed to be also helping some of you guys who want to know more about this process. So, Chris, I will ask the question, is there anybody there?
There are people here, Rosemary. Julia is saying, thank you for this explanation. And Kate is saying, so true. She also added, I cocooned in an essential oil bath, hence I came in late to this.
Oh, yes, but even so, you're ready for it, aren't you? How nice. That sounds like a nice idea to me.
Rhonda's here saying hello. She says it's a subject she's very interested in, as is Maggie, who's saying definitely interested in healing.
Okay, well, let's have some questions and some comments. I'm here to ask questions. I'm going to briefly talk about colours while you're figuring out all your questions. You know that once the questions stop coming, then we stop too, right? You know that. Okay, so we're looking for questions from people. I know that some of you just like to listen in, but maybe you might dare to ask a question as well, and it's always worth it for the answers that we get. But let's talk about colours for a moment. Those of you who know me and we've done healing before, we've done our healing exercises and so on, you'll know that I'm very fond of using colour in my healing process because I just feel it's the visual that we have and the visual that we create with the colours that we have creates certain different types of energy. And sometimes we have a patient who is extremely lethargic and has no energy whatsoever. Those are those moments when I might put a little teeny dash of red in my thoughts. Carefully though, because if you use too much red, red is such a vibrant color and such an energizing color. We don't want people, you know, uh, jumping on the ceiling, going crazy with the red. So we always use red as a tentative and just a teeny bit at a time. But red is the color of energy and vibrancy. And when we use it, or we sort of visualize it in the person's aura, or we inject it into our own aura just by visualization. We inject it into our own aura, and then therefore then into our patient's aura. We lay our aura or give our energy to someone else. We do have to be careful with that color red. And also, orange. Be gentle with those vibrant, bright colors. Um, and I like to use the colors that I personally mostly use. The colors blue. I like the color green because green is the color of peace and tranquility. When you are sort of injecting those colors, that color green into your aura, along with the process of injecting it, thinking of it, and bringing it into your energy field, the visualization of it is an immediate calming effect because the color green is such a calming and such a quiet, such a peaceful color. I love to also inject the color pink. I use the color pink quite a bit, and you see immediately I'm talking about it. Can you see what happens there? I am smiling now. Some of you know why I'm smiling because I immediately, when I think of love, which is the color pink, or the color pink, sort of brings that energy, that kind of soft, gentle, warm love. I'm going to think of my grandson, and immediately I'm thinking of pink. I'm thinking of him and surrounding him. Even as I'm talking now, I'm surrounding and sending out that wonderful, beautiful, warm, soft, uh, loving energy. And I'm immediately thinking of surrounding him with it, first and foremost. And then, of course, we have the color of gold and the color of silver, and I like to use that too. The color gold is the color of purity and pure thoughts, pure energy. The color silver, well, boy, so silver takes us to that whole other level. It takes us out there into the universe and to the universal workings of things. And so I like to bring. So what do we have here? What have I said? I bring the color blue, green, little pink in there, maybe a lot of pink sometimes, depending. A little bit of silver and gold in there too. I mean, you can't get really better than that. But when we're thinking about people who have specific illnesses or specific problems, what we would do is visualize those colors. We would visualize our patient. And what I often do is I visualize let's say it's a tumor, I visualize the tumor. I visualize surrounding it, all these beautiful healing colors, the blue, which is the vibrant blue of healing, the green, which is calming and peaceful. And if you visualize the issue that's going on, if it is a tumor, or if it's somebody has arthritic fingers, or you can visualize and surround them with these colors, with this energy, this incredible aura, this energy field, and you can surround them with it, and it makes a huge difference. Even to the point, on occasion, if we're really, really, really lucky, we can actually literally sort of disappear those things, make them just completely disappear. Of course, along with all of that healing that I give out there, I'm also uh, tapping into, plugging into, very important for me, into that God force, that God energy. Because as much as I can create an amazing energy, as much as I can create this amazing, incredible aura, well, God has it better than I do. He knows how to do it. I'm just a beginner. I'm just a student here. So I always tap into that God force that surrounds us all, and I use that too. And I always also ask permission if I'm beginning my healing. I always begin with a prayer, dear God, please allow me to tap into that universal God force. Allow me to join my energy with that universal God force, that energy that is out there. Allow me to tap into it and to join it, to be a small part of that incredible, fabulous universal healing that we all so love to be a part of. Chris.
Okay, we have a few people with comments and questions. So Marley says, when we visualize velours, is it important to consciously choose a color or to see what comes to mind? Sometimes I fill myself up with a color, but I never think of red. Don't I need it then?
Well, I think that we should not discount our instincts, but if you know the type of energy certain colours help to create, then you can literally make your own palette, and you can be an artist, and you can paint your aura into anything you want. You can paint these colors into your aura using your own palette, and you will use, I think, instinctively, especially the more you do it, you will instinctively use the colors that feel right for you. And when I just said to you earlier on, when I'm thinking of the color pink, I mean, immediately feel a very different vibration, a very different energy when I think of the color pink than I do when I think of the color gold. I sort of color gold elevates me, if you like. It raises me up. It raises my consciousness to become more and more aware. The color blue, well, I can just feel myself awash in the color blue. So when you are visualizing these colors and when you're creating these colors within you, this is what I think you need to be aware of. Pay attention to your own thoughts, pay attention to your own feelings, pay attention to how this energy makes you feel. And if it makes you feel great, that's fantastic. Um, I don't think I've ever used red to create my own aura or to enhance or to build on my own aura. I have occasionally used it with patients who are going through, you know, difficult times. Sometimes if somebody's in a coma or they are severely depressed and having severe depressive issues, but you do have to use it very gently, very little.
All right, Maggie says, I don't like how I am and my feelings. What you have said resonates with me and has helped me decide to approach a subject with my daughter and son in law that I hope will go well.
And before you tackle that subject, Maggie, take a breath, fill yourself up, use the blues, especially the greens, because they're calming. All right, use them on yourself. Create a harmony within you, a peace and a quiet and a harmony within you, so that when you come to talk to them, you will be much more centered and much more able to deal with whatever it is they might hit you with. Uh, when you talk to someone, if you're using reds and if you're using, sometimes reds are, as if they're in a certain way that you can feel the anger, and sometimes, if you're on a subconscious level, you're angry about something. That's when the reds can pop in there. So try to replace them with the blues and the greens and the calm and the peace and especially the color pink. Um, I think that sometimes, you said you're going to have a conversation, hopefully, with your daughter and son-in-law, um, and it might start off well, and then it sort of gets out of hand, and you wonder why, because you've tried everything you know. But what we forget is that on a subconscious level, we can harbor a lot of anger, or a lot of frustration. We can harbor a lot of disappointment. We can harbor all of that, sort of the feelings of, you know, uh, ingratitude. They're not giving me enough gratitude for whatever I've done, or you're doing your best, and they're not appreciating it. And be careful, because that's when your aura starts to get tinged with the oranges and the reds and the more vibrant but a little more angry colors. So just pay attention and try and keep your aura calm. Try and use your energy with those great, calm, lovely, wonderful, loving, healing energies that are around that we can use. Okay, Chris.
Julie says, have you ever used colored crystals on the chakra points? If so, have you found this has helped with healing and raising energy?
Um, I do know that a lot of people use crystals. I have held crystals. I have used them in some small way, but I don't. I know that for people who perhaps need either a visual aid or a physical aid to help them with this stuff, I think they can be quite good. I think they can be quite powerful. I have read books where it tells you, okay, this chakra point is the color, whatever it is, and the throat chakra is this color, and so on. That's not at all what I have found. I feel that as our chakra points meld, they begin to turn, they begin to spin, they begin to connect with each other. All of those wonderful colors blend together. It's not that one chakra point is green and another is blue. No, 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 not at all, because each chakra point has its own beautiful energy, and it's a blend of colors and it's a mix of colors. And as we use our chakras, don't get stuck in thinking, oh, this chakra point is blue, so therefore I got to get this blue because I want to use blue in my healing. That is not how it works uh, at all. Certainly not for me. And I'm aware now that a lot of people think differently. So, if you're one of those people who thinks differently and it's working for you, that's fine. I do not find it necessary at all to decide, what my chakra points are, because they're me and I'm multicolored and I'm multifaceted. And so why would I put barriers and blocks on what is going on with me by thinking, oh, this has to be green, this has to be blue? I'm allowing the energy to flow in its own way, connecting my energy to that God force, and I know that it will flow in the way that it's meant to flow.
Rhonda's asking, I have been working in a healthcare clinic for 21 years. People take so much of my energy, along with my family, that I've become so selfish with my time that I feel like I'm becoming too selfish with my time. I need
No,
time to
you're
meditate
good.
and to renew just to keep going. How do I find the balance?
You've got the balance. You're doing good, Rhonda. Forget everyone else. First and foremost, replenish you. You're no good to anybody else until you replenish you. And if replenishing you means taking time out to go for a walk, or it means taking time out to meditate, or it means, saying to your son or your daughter, "Sorry, can't do it tonight because I'm meditating." If they love you and they care about you and they understand what you're doing, tell them, I'm replenishing my energy here. Then they'll understand. Um, I actually am very fortunate in that uh, if when I'm with my grandson, rather than him taking away from me, and he's a talker and he wants to do things, and he's already made so many requests for when I see him at Christmas time. Will you help me make some pasta mosey? And can we make some inspired mosey? And oh, and we need to make some chocolate shortbread mosey. And can we go to the movies, mosey? And can we do this, mosey? And I'm already exhausted thinking about all of the things we're going to do. However, when I'm doing these things with him, he replenishes my energy. So so I don't have to say to him, uh, I need a rest or I need to go meditate or something, because he is what rejuvenates me. So I think you just need to find the people around you who rejuvenate you, my darling. But keep doing what you're doing. Don't worry. You're no good to anybody if you're worn out and if you are giving and giving and giving to others and not replenishing yourself. So less of the guilt. Get on with it and enjoy it.
Francesca is saying green is the one that comes to me easily, and blue, but white is my go to light. I have to
Nice.
try harder to get pink.
Oh, well, I like that you don't need it. Well, actually, white is fine. You can just use white and nothing else if you want to. Nobody says you have to use colors, and a lot of people don't. They find it hard to visualize, or they find it hard. But let me tell you, you don't have to see the colors necessarily. If you're thinking the color, it is the same thing. It has the same power. So you don't necessarily have to see to use those colors. Just think the colors, and that's as much as you need to do. Um, the old listen with your eyes. Yeah, then do your eyes have ears? How can you listen with your eyes? Well, you listen with the feelings that are within you, and if you're thinking uh, pink, you don't have to see it. Just think it. Just feel it. That works. It's just the same. I think white is a great color. Some people, some healers, are very successful and do a fabulous job without ever visualizing. I just like the idea of it, and I like to give my students tools that they can use to enhance their energy, to make it stronger, to help to build it up. And I think that using color and color energy is one of those ways where we can build our energy and become the real powerhouses that we really want to be.
So Rhonda's saying thank you. Maggie's saying thank you. I don't have any more questions at this moment.
Woody, so does that mean we can quit then? Okay, this is what I'd like to do. So everybody sit still, get ready. We are going to do a little healing now, so I want you to join with me. If you would like healing, if you would like my healing, by all means, take anything and everything you can get. If you want to give healing, by all means, take anything from me that you can get so that that builds your energy so that you can send it out to more people. Either way, it doesn't matter because either way, if you're receiving healing or you're giving healing, it's all flowing together as it should flow. So sit comfortably, preferably in a chair with your back sort of fairly straight, nice and comfy though. Sit nice and comfy. Feet flat on the ground, please, and hands palms up. We know that our palms are little receivers. They also give out, but they receive too. So palms flat on your knees. Take a breath. I know some of you are already closing your eyes because, oh, yes, well, that's what we want to do, don't we? We just want to close our eyes and we want to bring that God force to us. Of course, it's already there, but we want to recognize it and we want to acknowledge it. And by acknowledging and saying our prayer when we first begin, so first of all, we're sitting comfortably, breathing in through your solar plexus, nice and gently. You don't have to, you don't have to do that. Just nice and gently breathing in, building, 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 lifting that energy into your lungs and allowing it to just flow through. Just let it flow through you up into your shoulders, down your arms. Well, why not into your neck? Because boy, oh boy, my neck was stiff yesterday. So why not into your neck and allow it to flow and eventually, gradually, it will flow down your arms, through your hands, and out through your palm centers. You'll feel it in your fingertips. Some of you will feel that tingling sensation. And then when that's happened, we'll do it all over again. So breathing in. Close your eyes. Hands palms up on top of the ground. Breathing in nice and gentle and slow. And absorb first for yourself if that's what you want to do. But before we do anything else, just need to acknowledge that that universal God force that is out there. So I always begin with my prayer, dear God. Please allow us to participate with you in the healing process. Allow us to join forces with your energy. Allow us to join our energy with your energy so that we may help you to do the work that is needed in this world of ours, to send out healing to all who need it. And, dear God, to replenish our own self of our own energy, to give healing to ourselves so that we can be pure enough and strong enough, energetic share it with others, and breathe through the solar plexus. Exhale, positive, breathe it up into your lungs, into your chest. Oh, I can feel it always working for me. I don't know if it's working for you, it's working for me in my head, down my neck. It's lovely. Yes, that nice pink. I've got that wonderful pink. And it is true that I do tend to think of my grandson when I'm uh, doing this exercise, when I'm reflecting, when I'm filling myself up, when I am raising my level of consciousness, because thinking of it makes me smile. It brings that lovely warm pink. And so if you have somebody who is so special and wonderful and right for you, or thinking about that person who makes you feel so good, by all means bring him into this process or her into this process. It could be a grandchild, it could be a husband or spouse or whatever, whoever it is who makes you feel this way, it could even be sitting on your lap and absorbing that energy and filling themselves up with that energy too. So share it with your loved ones, share it with your pets, and fill yourself up. And here we go again. Yes, and breathing in for the last time, and we're filling our lungs, and we're filling every little part of us. And as I'm doing this, and I'm allowing this energy to flow, and I'm allowing myself to be replenished by this fabulous, beautiful energy. Well, what am I thinking of? I'm also thinking Grayson. I am there with him in the hospital, and I'm visualizing him. And boy, oh boy, does he have an incredible, incredible energy field around him. As my energy, that he has the energy of the universe as we work with him and work to make him feel better. So, go, go, take a breath, sit back, relax, feel inclined. Give yourself a minute or two because it's a lovely exercise. You want to wallow in it, don't you? Just want to have more and more of it. Well, I do anyway. So I'm just sort of wallowing in it here. My neck feels so good with that exercise. Yes, I really feel great with that exercise. And we're done. So let's give it a minute. We'll go for the final time to the chat room and see if we have any comments or questions in the chat.
Rosemary, there are no more questions or comments in the chat room right now.
So I think we'll give it a minute more. I think we can end the session. Healing sessions don't last long. They only take 10 minutes, if that even. If I'm walking along the street and I see someone who might need a little help or a little support, I just send out my thoughts because our thoughts are the pulses of energy. I send out a thought to give healing to that person or to this person yesterday, or maybe God, maybe that person looks as if they're in distress. Perhaps what can we do for that person? And we have to leave it to God to decide these things. And this is where our faith comes in. This is where our energy, we absorb it, we bring it into us, that God force, and then we expend it and we visualize it flowing over our patients. We visualize it flowing over those people who walk in the street. Or, sometimes I'll see a mother with 3 or 4 kids and she's harassed, and I think, poor thing, she needs a little of this. Let's zap her a little bit. Let's think of her. Let's just visualize her being encased, being surrounded by this fabulous healing energy. This is what healing is about. This is what being a healer is all about. And I do find that the more I give healing to others, of course, I then have to replenish myself, remember, but the more I give to others, I do find that it's giving back to me. It's sort of, whatever we expend, whatever we send out, comes back to us tenfold. So, that's what I'm hoping for today. I want it to come back to me tenfold. Oh, isn't healing a selfish process? Of course it is, and don't we love it just the same? I have to tell you, there's no reason why any of us should be afraid of being a little selfish when we need it. Because if we're not selfish with ourselves, we're going to be absolutely useless to everybody else. All right, Chris, one more time. Do we have any questions or comments in the chat room, or have I stumped you all? Have I put you all into silence here?
Uh, most of the people are saying they're going to rewatch or thank you for a lovely session. But I think the overall question is if people weren't on here live with you, how will it work later when they're watching the replay?
Perfectly. Perfectly. Because, yes, all right, it's a recording, but I'm sending out that healing. And even when this recording is done with, I'm still sending out that healing because I'm a healer. That's what I do. So remember that thoughts are living things. So when you're watching, even if you're thinking about what I'm saying and you're absorbing what I'm saying, and your thoughts are surrounded and centered on healing as I'm talking to you about these things, thoughts are living things. They are tiny pulses of energy that go out into the universe. And my thought, as you're watching me and you're thinking of me, then of course I'm reciprocating. How is that possible? Because your thoughts are coming out to me and my thoughts are going out to you in return. So even though it's not live, you don't need it to be live to benefit from it. And remember what I said. Healing is in so many ways, it's a selfish art if we want healing for ourselves. And who of us wouldn't want healing for ourselves? Give healing to yourself first and foremost, because that way you make absolutely certain that all around you, and all of those people you give healing to, they benefit from your being selfish, because the more you give to you, the more you have to give to others. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. We hope that you enjoyed this. Yes, keep going back and looking at it and reminding yourselves of what we've said, and try those exercises. Try sitting and breathing in and doing all of that. It is amazing. You will have an amazing time of it. So until we see you again, well, tomorrow morning we are doing our story time, and then, go to the website and check us out and see what else is on the website, rosemaryaltea.com. You'll find me on the website. And for those of you who have commented, and we've had so many responses for the newsletter, thank you, thank you, thank you. For those of you who didn't get the newsletter because you aren't subscribed, well, just write into the office. The email is Rosemary at rosemaryaltea.com, or Chris, Kris, at rosemaryaltea.com, and ask for a newsletter. We'll send one to you. Thank you all for the comments. Yes, it seems as if I don't know what I did quite with the newsletter this time, but it seems as if my letter has inspired so many of you to respond to me. So thank you all for that. All right. So until I see you again, maybe tomorrow morning. Please, 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 everybody, have a very blessed rest of the day, and have a very blessed weekend, everybody. Bye bye.